Hi, I'm Epokk, and in this video, I want to talk about the zones and the conservatory in Slime Rancher 2. Now, I actually have been hoarding the screenshots and the GIFs and, of course, the announcement trailer. Now, I actually found all these things over the internet in separate places like Twitter, articles, the Steam page, and stuff like that. But I actually collected quite a bit, and I have been staring myself blindly at all of them, and I actually am able to make some kind of cool connections between them. So I kind of want to run them down with you, and maybe just for fun's sakes, we're gonna try to recreate a world map for Slime Rancher 2. This is gonna be pure speculation, no official information except for the screenshots and trailer that we're gonna be looking at. But hey, it's kind of fun, so let's get started. So, before I actually start talking about the 6, maybe 7 zones that I have discovered, I actually want to talk about the conservatory first. Now, there are 4 new screenshots released officially, and I kind of want to talk about those too, and we will be seeing them through the entire rundown. So yeah, let's get started. Now, first of all, the first screenshot that they released was this one. So this is the entrance for the conservatory, which is really cool. It's nighttime. It looks great. Just the ambient lighting from those spotlights and the stars, it looks great. But either how, let's just take a look at it. So first of all, through the entrance, we can see the ranch over there and the plort market. Now, the plort market is kind of fairly empty, so I believe this is either the start of the playthrough or they actually kind of removed a few things that they showed in previous screenshots. Just watch my previous videos on that because those confirmed a lot of the base slimes, pretty much all of them returning. But there is really something weird about this screenshot. So this ranch isn't there in a specific screenshot. So if you actually look at the tree, now I'm going to use the tree a lot as a reference point in the conservatory. If you take a look at the shape of the tree, so we actually have this little U shape over here, or the S shape, or whatever shape you want to call it, and this little ball over here. Now, this ball isn't that obvious during the nighttime, but during the daytime, it's going to be a lot more obvious. And just keep a look at that, and we're going to take a look at a different screenshot. Take a look at this screenshot. This is the same tree. So the shape is a little bit different because we're looking at it from an angle. So actually, I believe the entrance that we just were looking through is going to be on our left side. And actually, as we look at it through that tree, I believe the plort market to be right behind it. But where the hell is our house? Our house is gone. Now, I wonder if this is something that wasn't placed there just yet when they made the screenshot. So maybe the development team hadn't made the house final model yet, or just didn't place it, or maybe they forgot, or maybe you unlock it somewhere during your playthrough, which would be really weird because then you wouldn't be able to sleep. And for speedrunners, that is going to be a big problem. So I really wonder why the house isn't there. Now, there are a few things at that specific spot that it should be, but honestly, I can't really tell what it is. It just looks like some kind of decoration there right now, but apparently they forgot the house, or maybe we unlock it later on. It's just a really weird thing that I found, but yeah, it's okay. Now, first of all, how many plants do we actually have in this base part of the conservatory? Yes, base part are going to be some expansions, according to me, at least 3 of them. But let's look at the plants. Now, how many plants are there? Let's just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because we have a pond and a storage over here, and then 6 over here at the front part. So just like the main part of your ranch in Slime Rancher 1, this main part will have 8 plots exactly the same, which is great. Now, I believe there are going to be 3 expansions to the conservatory at least, though I believe only 2 of the 3 that I'm going to show are purchasable and 1 is unlocked straight away. So first of all, we have the grotto. So the grotto has about 4 to 5 plots. It's really impossible to say at this point because we only saw it in the announcement trailer. A great way to place your baddie slimes away from the sunlight. That's going to be the first part. Probably is going to be something that you will need to buy. Now, just once again, look at all the mushrooms in this place. This is going to be one thing that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on in the video. This is going to be the second purchasable area in the conservatory. So first of all, this is a fairly unique place because look at those trees at the sides. I cannot place this part, the thing that we're seeing, the screen, this area, I can't place it in the main part of the conservatory because of those trees. Those trees are once again linked to a zone, just like the mushrooms in the grotto. So just like the original game, I believe the expansions to be tied to the specific zones, or at least inspired to. They were never locked behind, uncovering a zone, but I believe they kind of are the same as in the previous game. So at least we have two different zones. We have a mushroom zone and these tree area zone. I'm gonna give it a name a little bit later, but it's not gonna stick and it's gonna be a pretty bad name. Spoiler alert. But either way, this is gonna be an unlockable area, an unlockable expansion for your conservatory. At least we actually have 3 plants over here, 3 farming plants, but you can place there whatever you want. And our third part is one that was released in the latest Xbox article that I mentioned in my last video. So this is going to be the lab. Now, Nick Popovich, I believe he said in that article, said that this area would be unlocked straight away from the very start of the game. So you can start making gadgets immediately. So I believe we do not need to pay for this in new bucks. So of course we have the refinery at the end. We have a fabricator to the left, right below this Tanuki slimes or ringtail pink slime Largo. So this is going to be the fabricator. Over here we actually have the place that you can see how many plots that are in the refinery. But let's just move on. Now, lastly, I want to talk about this screenshot. Now, this screenshot is the outside of the conservatory. This was placed about a month after the official release of Slime Rancher 2. So we actually have over there the conservatory. Now we see there is this little walkway around it. It's standing right outside of the slime sea, and you can actually look at it from this beachy area. Now, this beachy area is once again part of a different zone. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Now, this little pathway around it, I believe, is actually these stones with some wooden beams between them. Now, apparently this isn't finished just yet because you see the wooden planks laying on the ground over there. I believe that is going to be able to be finished through the 7Z Club. This seems to be like this typical thing that you can unlock through the 7Z Club. Purely cosmetic, doesn't have that much impact on the gameplay. And then you will see the entire railing done. So I believe the 7Z Club to make a return once again. Now, I believe there to be 6 to 7 different zones. Now, the 7 zones that I want to talk about are the aquatic area, the happy forest, the lava zone, the mountains, the rainbow fields, the ruins, and mushroom indication zone. I don't know. I need to work on that name. Now, of course, there are no official names among those except for the Rainbow Fields, so let's just start with that one straight away. Now, the Rainbow Fields is the one that, actually is featured the most in the screenshots and in the announcement trailer and stuff like that. So we actually have a lot of bouncing slimes over there, the bunny slimes, and I actually also feel it's really easy to make the educated guess that the conservatory is right in the middle of the Rainbow Fields. Now, Rainbow Fields is the official name of it, and it has been officially confirmed that this is going to be the first area that you will be able to visit. But as you can see, the conservatory is right at the end of it, so I believe you're going to enter at one side of it. Now, I believe the conservatory is going to be at the end of the Rainbow Fields, and you are going to start your game at the other part, the entire other side of the Rainbow Fields. The place where you will actually see the slime drop down right next to a backpack, and you're going to pick up the backpack. I believe this little part of the announcement trailer is going to be the intro cinematic for a new playthrough in Slime Rancher 2. Yes, it's still a very speculation guess, but I really believe it to be so because I think this is going to be a great way to start the game. Now, I don't want to talk about the Rainbow Fields too much in general because for the very simple reason is that we saw a lot of it already through the announcement trailer and through the screenshots. But I do believe it takes a really central part of the map, which it often does in these kinds of RPGs, and especially because of this new screenshot that you released. There are 2 things that I want to draw your attention to, and actually 2 things is actually one thing, the 2 types of trees. Now, on the left side, we actually have this little pine cone, pine looking tree. And on the right side, we actually on top of this mountain over here, we actually have an entire different shape of tree. Now, I've been going through all the screenshots and actually you can see those specific round trees only in one other picture. and well, a few other pictures, but it's always of the same zone. So I believe on the other side of that mountain, it's hiding away a different zone. Those pine trees is also something that you will never see in a giant open area from the rainbow field. So I believe this to be under that arch is going to lead to a different zone. I might be completely wrong. Maybe they will be calling it not specifically a zone, maybe somewhere like a zone between zones. But honestly, I do think that is going to be the entrance towards another zone. Now, while we're talking about those pine trees, let's just talk a little bit more about the second zone. Now, the second zone I'm calling mountains because it has a lot of mountains in all the screenshots. It feels like very claustrophobic. It kind of feels like they're all pathways leading to the next zone. So I believe in Slime Rancher 2, it's going to be a lot. You going through a pathway, maybe through an arch, through a cave, and then suddenly when you end up at the other side of it, you are finding yourself in a completely different biome. Now, they actually already have this a little bit with Indigo Quarry and the Marsh Blanket, for example, or even the Ancient Ruins, but honestly, I believe they're going to push it a lot further in this game. Now, I'm pretty sure that the mountains area is going to be more about passages towards a different zone because of the colors of the pine trees. And the pine trees in this screenshot are brown. The previous ones, they were blue, which is like kind of suits more the grass of the rainbow fields. Over here, they are once again more green, more blue. Maybe that will lead towards something different. We actually also have this little ruins area over here. So maybe this will lead towards the ruins zone I want to talk about in a second. Over here, we once again have more of these kind of ruins, pathways, once again more brown in color, but still very mountainous. I do not believe these are going to be different kinds of zones, but I believe they're just one type of zone that kind of connects towards all the other zones. So I really believe this is going to be more like a central pathway towards a different zone. Another example of this is, for example, the part in the announcement trailer where we are being chased by four tars, and we actually see the surrounding mountain path around us with some mushrooms, giant mushrooms. So the giant mushrooms actually never come back in any of the screenshots or announcement trailers except for in the grotto. So I believe there is going to be a zone that can be tied to the mushrooms of the grotto. So maybe some kind of mushroom forest, maybe Sangarmash if anyone played Woke. Burning Crusade, I don't know, but I really believe the mountains are going to be the passageway towards all the different zones. Okay, let's talk about a different zone, the aquatic zone. Now, the aquatic zone is going to be the only one in screenshots where I found the angler fishing hanging around. Now, the aquatic zone is kind of featured in the announcement trailer, also quite a few screenshots of it. I also saw some phosphorus slime largos there, so maybe you can also find some phosphorus slimes in there, and of course the pink ones. Now there are tons of vegetables. I ran down them all in the trailer analysis video, but I believe this is going to be the only zone where you can find the angular slimes. Now at this point I am wondering myself if you can only find the new slimes in specific zones. Now, for example, I only saw bouncy slimes, so the bunny slimes in the rainbow fields. I only found angular slimes in the screenshots with the aquatic zone. I actually also found the flutter slimes in the next zone that we're going to be talking about. So I'm really wondering if we can only find specific slimes in specific zones, which kind of wonders, is there a new slime for every new zone? Now, on top of that, I actually want to mention that the aquatic zone seems to be between two different zones. Now, first of all, we actually have this screenshot over here, standing on a beach. On the left side, I believe we actually have a harvestable resource, deep brine, which is kind of something we talked about in the previous video. And right in front of us, of course, we actually have some ruins. So ruins are returning, so the quantum slimes are probably going to be in there. And I actually also have one specific screenshot from ruins that we're going to be talking about right after this. But I believe the aquatic zone to be right next towards the ruins area. So maybe they're right next to each other. So that would be really cool. Now, on the other hand, I believe the aquatic zone to be also right next towards the rainbow fields. Now, because as we are looking at this screenshot that I talked about earlier, we are standing on a sandy beach. And honestly, I actually have not found a different screenshot except for this one, where it wasn't obviously part of the aquatic zone. So I believe the rainbow fields to be right next to the aquatic zone, and I believe the aquatic zone to be right next to the ruins zone. So maybe they are like in this little triangle shape, or maybe the aquatic zone is just like the the meat of the sandwich between the aquatic zone and the rainbow fields. Though, of course, speculation once again. Now, I already talked about ruins a few times. Now, of course, over here, we actually have the only screenshot of the ruins. And the ruins has apparently the pink slimes, the rock slimes, and the tabby slimes. I believe the rock slimes weren't there in the official ruins area in Slime Rancher 1. Tabbies and pink were, because, pink are everywhere. Quantum slimes, I don't see them. I assume them to be there. And if you actually look outside of this door, what do you see? These are the rocks that you kind of saw earlier in the aquatic zone. So once again, I believe the ruins to be right next to the aquatic zone. Now, honestly, this screenshot baffles me since the very announcement of the game. Because the very simple reason is, once we have two different colors over here, we have pink on the left side or purple whenever you want, and blue on the right side. We actually have like these two cracked parts of an island, kind of like pushed together like two tectonic plates. So I believe this island to be really special for a very specific reason. I believe this place may be part of the storyline that kind of explains how this rainbow island was created. As I look at it right now, I believe there are going to be two islands that were split apart in the past and were kind of pushed together with tectonic plates or something. And now we actually have like these two very different colored islands on each side. Once again, I believe the storyline is gonna reveal a lot about this specific place. It's also really weird that we only have flutter slimes on the left side, on the right side, and bouncy slimes on the left side. The bouncy slimes were, except for this picture, always only found in the rainbow fields. The flutter slimes, they are kind of just only found in this area, except for in corals in the screenshots. So once again, really weird picture. Maybe there's going to be a zone on its own. It would be a really cool idea, but I'm not sure just yet. This is going to be the biggest question mark for me. I believe this zone can also be tied to the nighttime images that we saw in the announcement trailer. So once again, when we actually saw the baddie slimes for the very first time, we actually had these mangrove trees all over the place, kind of growing on top of mountains, which you didn't see that much in the previous video. Now, actually, also while we are sucking up the slimes in the final part of that little sequence, I took this screenshot, which is horrible quality, but there is also a cave over there. So maybe also this may be more tied right next to the zone of the mountains area. At the end of that little baddie slime introduction area, right before we jump into the grotto, we actually have this little view. So we actually have a cave over there at the top left. So I really feel like this is more of a mountainous area. So kind of maybe also ties into the mountains biome. So maybe these two are the same thing, though the mountains area had more of the pine trees and these actually have more of the mangrove area. Once again, we actually have bouncy slimes over here, which is also really weird. It's nighttime and there are phosphorus slimes and baddie slimes in the aquatic zone. I never saw any baddie slimes. I am really curious if the baddie slimes can only be found in specific zones and the phosphorus slimes can be found everywhere. It's something that I really wonder. Okay, so the last zone that I want to talk about is the lava zone. Now, the lava zone, we actually finally got a screenshot for it in the last screenshot dump. Now, it was hinted at in the announcement trailer and some artwork afterwards, where we see Beatrix looking over the Rainbow Island. Now, at the left side, we actually have the two-colored tree from the earlier screenshots in the Happy Forest. Name is pending. In the middle, we have the rainbow fields with those stony slime statues, and on the right side we actually have the lava zone that was kind of teased there but never got any context. We actually have some tropical trees and just some lava flowing everywhere. Fortunately, with this new screenshot we actually have more of an idea of what the lava zone is going to look like. So we actually have these very hot looking pieces of lava. on top of this little platform to the left. At the bottom, we actually have lava flowing all over the way. Um, Honestly, if we are gonna see fire slimes make a return, which kind of was confirmed in previous videos that I made, this seems to be like the perfect place for it. Now, actually, when I look at this, I really expect them to make a slime that really fits really well in this space. Because let's be honest, volcanoes, lava, not very hospitable to, life, to living animals, beings, whatever. So I really expect fire slimes to make a return, and also maybe a new kind of slime that would really fit well in this kind of biome. Because otherwise, this is going to be very empty. I mean, maybe you can find some crystal slimes here, maybe some rock slimes, but honestly, doesn't leave that much open for living beings. I expect a lot of the indigo quarry to be at least over here, but I really want some new slimes. So let's talk about all these zones that we kind of figured out. So first of all, we have the rainbow field. So these are going to be with the bouncy slimes. We actually have the happy forest with those mangrove looking trees. We have the aquatic zones, the mountain zone, the ruins, the lava zone, and maybe some zone with some kind of mushrooms. It's still a big question mark, that one for me. Maybe it's going to be a little bit sub biome. Maybe there's going to be some kind of cave with some mushrooms. um I believe there are going to be a quite few landmarks in this game hidden away, like for example the two-colored tree that we saw earlier. But honestly, it's still a big question mark. But honestly, I think we actually start having some decent references of how the map is going to look. So for example, we actually have the conservatory in the rainbow fields. Then outside the rainbow fields, we're going to have the aquatic zone right next to it. Maybe you can get there through the mountains area. And because we know the ruins are right outside the aquatic zone, the ruins are going to be right next to it. And then maybe the happy forest is going to be tied to the rainbow fields because of that mountain that was linked to it. And then of course we have the lava zone, which doesn't really seem that far away if you look at the artwork. So I believe it's going to be a little bit based on the reality of how the game is going to look. But either way, those were all screenshots and stills that I could make of the trailer. I hope you found it a little bit useful and interesting to watch. There are still a lot of question marks, but I do feel like I got some answers out of this video just looking at all those screenshots and going through them one by one. But guys, I want to thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm really curious, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!